Yes people, and welcome back to AJCars. Now today we have another video on the MK4 GTI. Now the big question surrounding this car is it really the worst GTI ever made? Now, the MK4 GTI came out of the factory with three different engines: the 2 litre naturally aspirated, the 1.8 turbo and the 1.9 diesel. Now if you're driving the 2 litre naturally aspirated, you probably are driving the worst GTI, because they're so hard to get power out of being naturally aspirated. They've got no turbo, so that I'd say if you're going to get one, get the 1.8 turbo, because they're so much easier to tune. You get more power out of them. The naturally aspirated are running 115 brake horsepower out of the factory. And that is not a lot at all. That's probably why it got called the worst GTI. The 1.9 diesel, great everyday car, good fuel, still get good power out of it, but the 1.8 turbo is the GTI that you want to be getting. So the MK4 GTI got its name being the worst GTI ever created because of its lack of performance out the factory. So it comes out the factory with 150 brake horsepower. That is not a lot really, considering it's supposed to be a GTI. It's supposed to be fast, it's supposed to be a nice little hot hatch, and 150 brake horsepower does not justify being a GTI, which is why it got its worst name of being the worst GTI ever created. In my opinion, and I think most MK4 GTI owners will say the same thing, I think it's a bit harsh saying it's the worst GTI ever created, because to me it looks great. It comes out the factory looking quite nice. A few simple mods can change the look of the car and make it look more aggressive. However, the performance really does lack, which is why it's 150 brake horsepower and why they gave it the worst name. Now, like I said, with a few simple mods, it can change that. It can become the GTI it was supposed to be out the factory, and I think they should have done that in the first place. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called the worst GTI, it'd just be called a GTI. Moving on to the exterior of the MK4 GTI, they do have quite a good model, and that is the 25th anniversary. So it comes with the front bumper, the side skirts, the rear bumper, the spoiler and the BBS alloys. Now, my 180 is a standard GTI, however it was a demo car when it first came out, so they put the entire kit on of the 25th anniversary. So it does make it look better. It has the front bumper, looks way more aggressive with the 25th anniversary valance at the bottom, the rear bumper, the side skirts. It just makes it look a lot more aggressive. Now, a standard GTI doesn't look as nice, it doesn't look as aggressive, it looks kind of boring, but that's just one of the choices that they made. I think it was a bad choice really. I think all of them should have came out of the factory with the 25th anniversary kit on them. However, that is the choice they made, and that was their kind of a downfall on the GTIs. Now, moving on to the interior, I think they have done a really good job on the interior. Considering it's a standard GTI, I think the interior is very nice. Very spacious as well for a small car. Like, you don't expect there to be a lot of room, but there is. It's quite a lot of room. It's got things like heated seats. I'm not a fan of the fucking cassette player, but you know, that's what they chose to do. I don't know why they did that, but it's got a cassette player for anyone that cares. But the interior is quite nice. I do like it. These have leather seats. Some of them do come with leather seats. Some of them have cloth seats, the Recaros. The 25th anniversary come with the cloth Recaros, but they're also heated. So I think they've done quite a good job on the interior. So exterior, okay, but interior is actually really nice. So is the MK4 GTI really the worst GTI? Now let's start with handling. Handling isn't that bad. I think on a stock one it will be quite bad because it's not very powerful. It'll feel quite sluggish and heavy. However, a few simple mods can help that. Power, all you need, a cold air induction kit and a map. Maybe not even a cold air induction kit, but it will help the power. You'll have a bit more power, it will feel a bit lighter, and as well with a set of coilovers or springs, it will change it massively. Next, is it comfortable to drive? Yeah, very comfortable to drive. If you're stupid like me and you put some spacers on the back and then add some negative camber on the back,
yes,
it won't be as comfortable because it rattles its tits off and you scratch on everything, unless you go into first gear and go over a speed bump at 5 miles an hour like that. However, if you're not stupid with it, they can be very, very comfortable cars. So don't think that because it's small and slow it's going to be really sluggish. It's not. Very comfortable cars to drive every single day, which is exactly what I do. So, are the Mark IVs fun to drive? Yeah, they're really fun to drive. They're not the most powerful car out there. They're less powerful than other GTIs, but once you've had it mapped, they are really fun to drive. I mean, with a bit of power, they can be quite fun. Usable power, you don't need to use it all the time. You can quite easily drive this car normally every single day without ragging the tits off it. But once you want to put your foot down, they do put a smile on your face because they are fun to drive. So, are they powerful? No, they're not. They're really not powerful. However, with a map and a few mods, they can be a bit more powerful. They're not going to be mega fast. No, they're not. You're just not going to get it out of a Mark 4 GTI unless you go big turbos or whatever you want to do to it. Stage 2 will take it to 230 brake horsepower, which is a reasonable amount. But no, they're not the fastest GTI out there. I would 100% agree with that. But they can be fun little cars with a few simple modifications, and I can't take that away from them. Comfortable to drive and very easy to make powerful. Now, what are they like in comparison to the Mark 5 GTI, where the Mark 5 GTI was its so-called saviour of the GTIs? They renewed the GTI name after the appalling performance of the Mark 4 GTI. I don't think that's very fair, because the Mark 5 GTI has 197 brake horsepower. Now, the Mark 4 had 150 out the factory. But with a few simple modifications, like a map, like a cold air induction kit, you will gain more power than a Mark 5 GTI. So I don't think that's a very bad option to have if you wanted to have a nice stance car like I'm looking for, an old school looking car. I would not say get a Mark 5 because they're not really old enough. They don't look old enough. They came out the factory with better streamline, better alloys, more of a GTI style look. Now, is the Mark 4 better than the Mark 5? No, it's not. But that's only because the Mark 5 came out the factory with more power. It looked more modern, it had better alloys, it looked more GTI-y. But no, it's not better than a Mark 5. But they are fun little cars. So, is the Mark 4 GTI the worst GTI? No. Is the Mark 5 GTI better than the Mark 4? Yeah, it is. It came out of the factory looking nicer. It didn't have that old style look. It had the new style streamline, better alloys. It came out with more power. It was just more GTI. But no, I would say the Mark 4 definitely isn't the worst GTI out there. I think that's unfair to say, because the Mark 4 compared to the Mark 5, 47 brake horsepower out the factory, but with a simple map and a cold air induction kit, you actually gain more power than the Mark 5. So I think it's a bit unfair to say they're the worst GTI, and the fact that the Mark 5 GTI is the saviour of GTIs and brought the name back to life, because I think that's a bit of a stretch considering they're not that much better, unfortunately.
It's totally wrong. It's just like wrong. It's just wrong.
So when we have a
not true. It's just not true.
So if you're out there thinking about buying a Mark 4 GTI, I'd say get one, because you can put a stupid pop and bang map on the back of it and you can have a lot of fun driving it.